How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews, back with a little bit of Frequentem up in this piece. Form of their German Altbier. Yes, this is a 5.5% German Altbier. Done and done. No idea on dating, canning, all that stuff. This comes courtesy of my boy Keith, 93 Lumber, for those keeping score at home. And they come to Keith via Mike from FLX Beer Reviews. Those guys up there in the old Rochester-esque kind of region in New York. Dan and Mike came down for Beer Tube Palooza. Mike spoke the gospel of Frequentem in their lagers, and Keith was like, I need that in my life. Guess what? This guy benefits. Hey there. Label-wise, it's awesome. I actually really like the way they laid their labels down. Very classy, very nondescript. Alt beer. Looks like an alt beer. Maybe, again, a skosh darker than what I expected. And when I say again, the other beer that I reviewed from these guys, which was California Common, I thought was a little bit darker. I mean, we're kind of splitting hairs to a certain extent, so definitely go watch that one. But, it's got this almost two-finger, khaki colored, nice kind of rich malt forward, but yes, lager-esque kind of head to it, and just this nice, rich, dark, almost like Doppelbock level kind of rich darkness to it as far as the beer goes. So, see if we get a nose. I mean, there's really not much there. A soft little sweet maltiness with a touch of like sweetness, extra sweetness. Hard to explain because I don't want to say caramel breadiness or anything like that, because I think that's kind of stepping on the heels of what I've said during the California Common. This is very neutral nose, but there's some kind of extra sweetened kind of caramel molassy thing kind of fluttering on the edge that you kind of get there in the nose. And just honestly, lager vibes. Definitely lager yeasty vibes. Definitely in that kind of Bach level kind of thing. Listen, if you're going to kind of hold a gun to my head and ask me what are the most boring styles in the history of beerdom, American Blonde Ale is number one. I mean, I honestly, like American Blonde Ale, traditional old school style American Blonde Ale is like way more boring than macro adjunct lager. That's how I find American Blonde. Now, there's super great versions of that beer that, people like The Alchemist and people like Lawson's do and stuff like that. But they're not what you typically get from American Blonde Ale. And all beer is kind of up there. There's a lot of great German styles from, super clear to dark, everything in between, lager, ale, the whole nine. Alt beer's never been this super exciting thing, so I wasn't expecting a big nose on it. It smells quite nice. Nothing there as far as negative goes. Let's dive in. Cheers. I got halfway through that, and I was like, yep, that's an alt beer. That's an alt beer. There's something here, though. There's something here. There's like a I dare I say a subtle kind of funky, smoky characteristic. Almost like it's not Rosh beer level smoke, but there's something to this beer that brings a little bit extra to the game. There's a little bit of density to it, so the lager portion of the show doesn't come off super crisp and clean. I could be confusing that with a little smoky thing with a little bit of overt, like over roast or burnt kind of roastiness, but I'm not hating it. It's definitely malt forward, big, huge, yeasty, funky yeasty lager vibes on it. Yeah, there's something there, man. I'm not going to be able to kind of pick up on it, peg on it, but there's something there, It has this kind of slightly, the best thing I can lean into is a smoky characteristic, and it's probably like a beef jerky kind of smokiness to it, but it's very, very subtle. I wouldn't put this as a Rosh beer, kind of classified as that. It's an alt beer, but it's almost like a subtly smoked kind of alt beer, which kind of tickles my fancy. But there's something in my brain with it not being called a smoke beer on a label. It makes me think there's maybe some kind of like little variant in a malt or something in the brewing process that brought that up without being there on purpose. But I don't know. the best way I could put it, and this is probably the worst way to put it, but I'll put it that way anyway. It's like burnt coffee. Like if you just like you had like an over roasted coffee and it's been sitting in the pot for a long time, so it kind of has that subtle burnt coffee thing that comes off as a little bit smoky characteristic for me. I'm not going to sit here and say I hate it. I actually don't mind it. I think it poses itself or presents itself as an interesting kind of alt beer, an interesting take on an alt beer. It's almost like an alt beer had a baby with a bock, had a baby with a subtle smoked kind of beer kind of thing going on. So there's a three-way kind of menage a trois kind of going on with this beer in a very interesting way. I'm not going to sit here and say it's one of the better lagers, one of the better alt beers, any of that stuff right now. But if you say one of the more interesting lagers that you've had as late, it probably ekes into that. Like I said previously, I did a review of their California Common. I will post that the same day so you guys can watch both of those. I love that beer. I thought it was quite fantastic. Very well made. Definitely enjoy that one quite a bit more than this one. But there's something about this kind of just interests me. And I think that in and of itself makes it a good beer. Let's talk about it then. Is it one of the better alt beers I've had? It kind of defaults to yes. But I don't know. How many alt beers do you have? Is it one of the better lagers I've had as late? It's in the conversation, but it's not even close to the top. It's fun. It's interesting. I'm going to drink the whole thing. Let's put it that way. Faggot availability on this beer? No idea. Keith, Mike, or anybody in the kind of Frequentem universe, please let me know and leave you with, if you like, well, we like this beer. If you like alt beer that's beefed up, a little smoky characteristic, and it's kind of like weird beer, then you'll like this. Weird beer is not a negative thing. It can be a good thing. So there you go. Reviewing the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers. If you want to check me out in the social media stuff. Beer Massif. Doing a whole podcasting thing. Let me know if you've had this beer, please. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of Frequentem right now. Hope to see you next time. Cheers.